Hello and welcome back. It's another one. It's a quick turnaround, really. Yesterday, still seething, still annoyed, peeved, upset. I don't understand why, because end of the day, what am I expecting every weekend? What are we all expecting every weekend? It's just become the norm to be this disgruntled come the end of your weekend, heading into the working week. Hope you all are well. I mean, going off that intro, I'm guessing you're not. But yeah, if you are listening to us on podcast platforms, thank you very much. I'd just like to say, since being able to get everything back up and running on there, you guys have been phenomenal, watching in your numbers and listening in your numbers, sorry, and really do appreciate it. Those watching us on YouTube as well, thank you for your support. Do keep it coming. Get your comments in. Let's have a good 2026. If we can have something positive to do with Burnley, let's be it from this side of things. Dan is with us. No Joey tonight. He's busy. But Dan is here to give us his wonderful insight into why he decided to drive all the way up from Devon to watch that shit again. So after then try and somehow console himself. I don't know. You must have a really soothing playlist on the way back, mate.
Dan, listen, mate. I drove 258 miles. I got to give you a hug in the fan zone, and I drove 258 miles home. I was happy, man. That's it, mate. That's it.
I'll take that. Nobody would ever go to those lengths for me other than yourself. I appreciate it. Speaking of which, Kate's in and says, "Hey, Daniel and Dan," full Sunday name for me. Max in as well and says, "Good evening. Before we get into it, please can we ensure only language a 3-year-old can understand is issued?" So yeah, I suppose so. I mean, we'll start from now. And Rich is in as well. He says, "Evening, gents. Honestly, Rich, absolutely fantastic to meet you. You and the wife and the financial burden and Jake. Like I say, really do appreciate meeting all of you, and it was good to have a catch up and a couple of beers. So no, I do. Good luck for the rest of the season. You guys, again, similar to every team that we've played, haven't really had to break out of first gear, and you managed to get the job done. Paul's in. Evening to your good self, mate. Jamie's in as well. Evening, gents, or should I say, hi, kids. I'd like to say this is a joke, but it's not. It's my little girl, and I love you too. I love you too, Esme. Max says, "Goo goo gaga." I did have to laugh actually at what somebody put in the comments to the West Ham preview, saying, "I would buy your dad a pint, I would love to meet up with your dad and buy your dad a pint, Esme, but at £7 he can sod off." And I thought that was quite funny. English lessons today, that trust me, you know what it's like. You came up here and learnt for yourself. There's no such thing as an English lesson up north. There's it's up north. But no, I hope everyone is well. Let's get the shit show out of the way. Yesterday, Dan. Do or die game. Needed to have a bit of a redemption performance after the shit show at Sunderland. But same again.
I don't know. I thought we came out of the traps fast. I thought we had a lot of pace. Worked really hard. Sorry, mate. I was thinking about West Ham for a minute. What did we do? I'm going to say good evening to my mate Paul Narden as well. Good to see you in, Paul. Yeah, look, I don't know what we expected. Honestly, I don't know what we expected. We said in our preview, and we told Jake, that clean sheet that you've not had for so long, it's about to come.
We did call it, yeah.
You know, it got to the point at Turf, for those that weren't there, that, you know, we were clapping when we had a shot on goal. I mean, you know, literally. You know, I think we got a corner at one point and there was a cheer. I mean, it's just gone completely and utterly wrong. And, you know, we'll come on to Parker in a minute, but, you know, blaming the fans. I mean, it's not the fans that have made it go so utterly wrong. It's not us that's got us to this point. Now, okay, argue whatever about booing, about the cricket field stand having a go at JBL, about, telling players they're not fit to wear the shirt, whatever. Look, at the end of the day, something's gone abysmally wrong because not one of those players yesterday looked, I don't know, happy, content on the ball, wanting to be there. They just all looked from minute one again like, they didn't want to do it. And that's more than just, because we're worried the home fans are going to boo, because some of those players, it doesn't matter whether you played for Burnley or not. Kyle Walker is a professional, an absolute top professional of this game in this country for years. He knows that if you go on any football pitch in this country for any team and give 100%, your fans are happy. It's that simple. You can even make Millwall fans make a noise. There you go. Just get them on in there for Dad. And even they'll be happy if you get on that pitch and you give them 100%. I mean, the players know that. It's not us. So, yes, mate, I don't know. I'm a bit lost. I'm a bit lost what to talk about when, we just didn't turn up. We didn't do anything. And don't give me the 10 minutes in the second half is great.
I mean,
we farted.
Rich has said that. Rich has said that. He said if you scored early in the second half, went on top, could have been a different game. But again, how many times do we come out for the second half, have a good solid 10 minutes, and then it's back to reality again?
Yeah, and my concern in the second half, and it's really sad as a fan to say this, was at one point I thought, oh shit, do you know what? If we score, Parker's going to keep his job. I honestly, I was like, they're going to do it. They're going to come. They're going to score a couple of goals. We're going to end 2-2, and Parker's going to be like, hey, look, we came back from 2-0 in adversity. Oh my God! But we didn't. We couldn't even do that. So there you go.
Oh, that's true. Lee says, how much longer is Parker going to still be here boring us to death? I'll watch on TNT on Wednesday, but with alcohol, it's the only way I can watch us at the moment. To be fair, I did put away a fair bit of the old alcoholic beverages on Saturday because I just thought, it's a bit like putting clove oil on toothache. It numbs the pain. It has to be done sometimes. Baxi says as well, it's embarrassing now. They look like they don't know what positions they're actually playing. They can't pass for toffee. Florentino Luis was absolutely awful, and I'm glad he came off early doors. He actually has had a barren spell of games, actually, the last couple of weeks. I think he's been miles from it, but he's not the only one, is he?
No, and I mean, I guess we took him off at half time because he got the most ridiculous yellow. Not ridiculous yellow from the point of view that it wasn't deserved. It was deserved. He got the yellow for what he did, but him himself. I mean, I think he put, if I remember rightly, just not shortly before that, he put the most stupid tackle in. It's just amateurish, and I just, that's not him. And I do feel for the players, and I didn't boo them yesterday. It was my personal choice. I didn't boo them. I did leave as soon as the final whistle blew. I'm not going to stand there and clap them and thank them for their efforts because they didn't give me any effort. But I do feel sorry for them. I do feel like, they look lost. And I think Bax is spot on there. They don't know what to do, where to go, how to do it, what position they're playing. They just do not know. And that's not the fans, by the way, whether we're 3-year-olds or not. That's purely down to the coaching staff and Parker. That's it. Yeah.
No, Paul says there, he said Parker will keep his job no matter what. And I think he's spot on. I think it's got to a point now where we've just accepted that this is what it is. We'll still keep shouting from the rooftops with every match day that goes on, but it's one of them. Like I say, Chris them says, any news on Parker being sacked yet? I honestly thought potentially there was going to be something this morning. There was no interviews put out on the socials or anything. It went very, very quiet. And there was 2 or 3 times yesterday where Pearson family got up out the seat, went inside, and then they'd return after about 20 minutes. Now, I was thinking, right, is there something in the pipeline here? Is something going to be said or done? And again, maybe they just did it for shits and giggles to appease fans. Baxi says Florentino doesn't look fit enough. And Chris says, why can't we play 4-4-2, play 2 strikers up front? I think at this point, Chris, to be honest, I mean, Rich says they're going 4-4-2 changed our season, but you've got a manager there in Nuno that's why I think it's worked for Dash a little bit at Forest, because he's continued the sort of defensive structure that Nuno had already installed in there. But the defensive structure that you guys and Forest have had has paid off. You've got the basics right. We don't understand what the basics. It's like teaching 11 blokes how to play football at the moment. I feel harsh saying that, but I feel like we started the season with a team that had an abundance of talent, and now we're starting to see it dwindle week after week. If you can, please, people, do hit that like button. Really do appreciate it, and thanks for the comment, Rich. At all, Max says if he does stay, then it will be dreadful again next season, just like last year with draws and 1-0 wins. I think his contract runs out at the end of next year, doesn't it, Dan? But surely enough's enough by the end of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Just jumping ahead on a comment there, his contract does come up at the end of next season. So, what are the club thinking? Are they thinking we keep him? If he gets us up, we just don't give him a new contract? That would seem, I don't know, a bit pointless and a bit silly in a way. But then what have Crystal Palace just done? They've tried to sign their manager on, and in this instance, the manager didn't want to. He's the one that's turned around and said, I'm not doing it, and I feel he's just going to walk, isn't he?
Well,
we
Marco
can afford
Silva's
to
doing
sack
the same at Fulham, isn't it? I think Marco Silva's not renewing his contract there.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But I do think we need to stop thinking we can't afford to sack him. I think that's absolute and utter tripe.
Yeah, I think
believe
we don't want to.
So what's he on? I heard, is he? I mean, he's one of the lowest paid managers in the league, obviously.
Yeah, has to be.
But I think he's on something like 2 million or 2.5 million a year or something. So if you're looking at that, look, he's got a year left and a bit. That's so you pay that off, and then he'll have a a little bit of remuneration or whatever they call it. So it ain't going to cost us 5 mil. It's not good for what we actually are worth and what it's going to cost us going down in relegation. If it was just the money, we'd have sacked him months ago. I mean, it's pointless. Yeah. It's 5 mil. It's nothing.
Max, to answer your comment there, can we waste 20 mil on Broja? It was 18 mil. I know that's 2 million difference. But is that
we've
2 million?
Paid 5.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard with Broja, and what we mustn't forget here is that these players that we've been buying have not been costing us that money that year. And some of them won't cost us that money, full stop. So Broja is going to cost us 18 million if he achieves so many games, and we have promotion and we have this, that, and we do the other. He's not going to cost us 18 million because he's going to go. We'll get rid of him. We're not stupid in a way. So I believe down payment was 5 or something silly to give him a chance to say, come and prove it, and we'll pay you good money if he's not doing it, is he? Not exactly scoring goals and getting any bonus, is he?
So that's all one. He's got one.
Yeah.
Lee says, do you think Parker will walk at the end of the season? Personally, no. I think while he's still being given his airs and graces by those upstairs, I don't think he'll ever walk away from a job. This is probably the longest he's been in one, to be honest. I don't think he's actually had 2 full seasons. So, time will tell. And today's comment says there's only one sexy ginger. You better believe it, sunshine. You better believe it. Heffy's in as well. Says, all right, Dan and Dan, I'm sick of people saying the cricket field is a disgrace. Yes, we booed and Sam Parker out, but surely we're allowed to voice our opinions. I think everybody is allowed to voice their opinion. Rightly so. End of the day, you pay good money to watch them. It's your money that's going back into the club. You are well within your right to voice your opinion. It's just the fact that we keep going on about fan experience. We want the fan experience to be brilliant, but the fan experience starts with results on the pitch. Anything after that is an absolute Brucey bonus. Baxi says, us going down this season, thinking of next season, do you think the club has to scrap their recruitment ways and trust the manager? I think that's the word there that you need to look at is manager. That's what we need. We need a manager, not a head coach, not someone who's going to go, oh, yeah, you make the decisions and I'll just stick about with what I'm given. No, we need a manager to come in, install a style of play, install his mentality. But personally, that's, again, goes back to opinions. I think we need a manager. And the fan meeting is on the 18th of Feb. So we shall see. Fan experience looks brilliant at Sunderland. Yeah, I bet it does at the moment. JBL gave the fans a middle finger yesterday. Well, then I can understand why they was booing. Lee says he was at Fulham 2 full seasons. Season they got promoted via the playoffs, then the following season in the Prem when we relegated them at the Cottage. Fair enough then. Fair enough. We'll come to that then, Dan. The 3-year-olds having a tantrum. A lot are saying that it's regarding the fans. I can understand where it looks like that. I can understand how it looks like he's basically saying, no, I'm the parent of this club, and the club's going for a bit of a tantrum, a turmoil situation. And was he backhandedly saying sorry? But then at the same time, a tough one to swallow ahead of a big fixture yesterday.
I think you've just hit the nail on the head, Dan. It was ahead of the game, and I think many people didn't see it because I didn't even know Football Focus still existed. Let's be honest, and we were sat watching Man United, show the new manager bounce again. It was before the game. I think a lot of fans, all of us, we've seen those comments put. A cut version of those comments put on X. And I think we have. I included last night driving home when it was shown to me. I've reacted and been annoyed. Who does he think he is? How dare he? But I think when you then look at it all in context, big shout out to my Southwest Clarets, who probably aren't listening because they get fed up with me on my WhatsApp group, let alone on here. But quite rightly, one of the boys on there has pointed out, he sees it completely differently. And we talked about this before we came on. So for those that are listening, think about the fact that he's talking about the club, not the fans. In the interview, he was talking that he's been here 4 years, that he's the parent of a 144-year-old club that's going to be here for another 144 years. And that while he's parent of the club, the 3-year-old is throwing a tantrum. The club is not doing what the club should do. He's embarrassed, as a parent would be, that the club is not doing what the club should do. I just don't think he's American, boys. He comes out with some of these things a bit like Cantona used to when he talked about seagulls, and all we could think about was seagull shit everywhere. But Cantona was this French philosopher talking about seagulls. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's come out with something that I don't think has been received. I can sort of see two sides to it. And he's not wrong. The club isn't doing what it should do. It's misbehaving and throwing a tantrum,
No, that's true. I think the only person I could ever look at and say that his analogies were second to none was someone like Ian Holloway. And his were quality. I don't think we've hit that sort of area yet. But again, Things
Is
like
he
that
free?
prior to a game. That is at
Is he
Swindon.
available?
No, he's at Swindon.
Yeah, but Swindon, come on, he'd come to us,
To be
wouldn't he?
fair, it won't be long before he's out of a job there. I mean, he is doing well, but off the pitch, he seems to be in with the media a bit shirty. So,
Right, yeah.
not sure. But Chris, to answer your question, season ticket prices going up. Is this true? Yes, there's truth to it, but not by much. Not by much. That's all I can say. Heavy says all of the players warmed up like professional footballers yesterday. JBL got himself involved with the fans, and yeah, I think there is an element of that. If you do get yourself involved, you're going to expect a backlash. Thousands of fans are going to jump on you if you react. So the best thing he could have done was not react and just knuckled down. Max says Pierce should know better, having been here 5 years or whatever. This is something that I said to you earlier, Dan, wasn't it? That Pierce had this 5-year plan. We're now in the 5th year of that plan, and this is probably one of the worst years. In fact, if not the worst year, because he just doesn't show willing to change it. But then, yet again, need to take away some of what he said before the game, that we're going to have good days. It's going to be another 144 years of whatever will be, ups and downs. Looking at that 5-year, would you say there's a lot more positives that outweigh the negatives? Is it just that this season sort of really tops everything at the moment?
Yeah, I think we look at the club as one aspect, which is the first men's team. That's
Yeah.
what we look at. We don't know what his full 5-year plan was, and please, guys, I'm not defending pace. I wouldn't say I'm a pace fan. I wouldn't say I'm against pace. I'm just trying to put some, two sides to everything, really. And if his 5-year plan, for instance, was to make the women's team professional and to have them promoted to the WSL2 in this instance, then there's a good chance he's going to reach that in his 5-year plan. If the 5-year plan was to make sure that the academy was a Class A, whatever it is, and settled and not going to lose it like it did last time, and then that's his 5-year plan. It's worked. Obviously, what hasn't worked is one part of his 5-year plan, which happens to be the biggest part, which is get us back into the Prem and keep us there. And that's probably the only part of the plan we knew, isn't it? Let's be honest. We all knew that was his aim. But look, 5-year plans are fluid. They have to be. That 5-year plan turns into another 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and plans are plans. And he's going to have to come out at some point, and somebody's going to have to question him and say, "Okay, that's the end of your 5 years. What are you doing? What's going on?" But he sort of alluded to that yesterday. I've spent 300 million. We're going to spend hundreds more. Well, he's not wrong, is he? I just hope not on some of the shit that we've spent the 300 million on, because that's just heart. It's destroying, isn't it? Destroying.
It is. Lee says in the chat, at least a certain other East Lancashire club are also going down this year. So there's no derby in the Championship next season, which is good, as I get nervous for it. I'd want them to stay up just to purely be easy 6 points. But that said, I do get where you're coming from, Lee. I really do, especially with the way we're playing at the moment. I can very much understand why you would say that, because you don't know what's what until those games come about. Chris says, what gets me, Alan Pace has come out at the beginning of the season and said, we've learned from previous Premier League seasons what has happened. Yep, 100%. Heffy says, I'm a 45-year-old toddler, Pace in Dreamland, saying he wants to take Burnley to the Champions League. Matt says, sorry, but I don't care what the 5-year plan is. No plans in the world can allow a manager to stay in situation with no winning 16 or whatever it is. In situ, not situation, he says. And that's true. We get beat again. We basically match our worst ever record.
Yeah, I believe it was it 1899, 1900 season or something?
Yeah.
We went 17 games without a win. That's the only time in our history we've done it. So we're going to equal that on Wednesday night when Palace beat us. which means game after we've broken another record. And one thing you can say about Parker is he's broken a lot of records, from defensive to being crap.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's he's probably broke more records than even Company did in his championship season. So you can, I mean, all of this is just mad. It's just bonkers, isn't it? We just don't know what to say or do or go next, and we're as lost as the players are. And ultimately, where's it going wrong? Where's it going wrong? Is it? I keep hearing interesting one. Just quickly, actually, I saw on X before we came on, Paul Weller.
I saw Paul Wells comments, hasn't he?
I respect Weller a lot. How can't you? True legend of the club, and he points out, as an ex-professional player who knows more than we do, boys and girls, that it's this recruitment team. Now, ultimately, Pace is in charge of that, and Pace can hire and fire. Pace can turn around and say, look, you've wasted 300 million of my money. What a load of crap. I want new people in. But we don't have a manager. We have a coach. He is given players. Now, yes, okay, as Weller then said, the two players that we know Parker chose, he deserves sacking for. But still, he's been given these players. They've been bought, and he's been told, go play with them. It's not his fault, in a way.
No, I mean, Paul says there, previous relegation, we've had assets to sell to throw back into the squad. I don't see it this time. I couldn't agree more. Heffy says Dash had more wins in the final season than VK and Parker combined. I think the reason for his sacking wasn't down to results. I think, again, it was down to a change of power. And then, like I said, going to a head coach instead of a manager. Dash, for me, was one of those managers who was of a dying breed, a little bit like a Turner. He didn't exactly run the club, but he liked to at least, have his fingers in a few pies, so to speak. He came in, turned the training ground into what it was, instead of just, council blocks and things like that. Something needs to give. There's going to be a lot of change. It doesn't help all this stuff going on. I mean, brilliant. We can look to the women's game. Obviously, they won 7-0 today, Dan. Lou, but a lot of people are reading into that as well. Lou Roberts handing in a resignation when she's been interim twice. And then all of a sudden, Ross Wallace is back at the club and taking charge. And I don't know, are they trying to do these little things to try and appease the fans? Or because at the moment, they could say we're going to bring Teller in, and Haaland's going to come until the end of the season. And I don't think fans still would be happy at the moment, would they?
No, because we'd probably play Teller as a centre half and Erling Haaland as a right, fullback or something to cover Walker. I mean, do you ever get to the feeling you're just lost for words? You just don't know what to say. Deitch wasn't a yes man, and I do have the feeling from the word go that Parker almost was thankful for being given a job at such a club. And I know we're biased, but Burnley's not, from the point of view of Parker and who he's been with before, Fulham, Bournemouth, and clubs that, have had some history and where they've gone and what they've done, we're not a bad club for him to have walked into after his. Don't forget his foreign team that he lasted about 12 games and got the sack.
Club Bruges.
Yeah, was it Club Bruges? I mean, nobody was employing Parker. I mean, he came in saying, I've had a year out and I've been, looking in.
Weren't he actually away on holiday with his family when he decided to leave them on holiday to come and sign a contract with us?
I mean, the guy was desperate for a job and we gave him it. I mean, he was thankful. So you're right. Deitch was not a yes man. Deitch simply just said no to stuff. And to be fair, Garlic didn't have any money, didn't want to have to put any money in, and let Deitch sort of rule the roost a bit. You don't blame either of them. Look what we got. I do have to say, though, you're not going to get that nowadays. And I do think sometimes we have to look back and think if Garlic hadn't sold the club, whether it was to Pace or not, whether it was a leverage buyout or not, if Garlic had not sold the club, where would we be now? Because I don't think we'd be going up and down. I think we'd just be
not for
languishing.
a club in the size of town that we are. Like I say, we probably we've had our history like every other club, and we've had very good days, but town size wise, we're on a par with Bury.
Yeah,
and we could easily have carried on down that route. Like I say, I'm not sticking up for anyone, but something has to change. We are still, little fish in a big pond, but you'd at least like to see us swimming and not getting nibbled at by the bigger fish. and those bigger fish at the moment are even the teams around us.
Yeah, absolutely. But think about some of the teams that are out there, Dan. So Leicester are a bigger club than us. Do we agree? They've got a bigger catchment area. They're a bigger club than us.
Yeah,
okay.
I'd say so.
And the other one that comes to mind is, and I just had it in my head, but I'm getting old and I forgot. I've got Parker syndrome. Who was I thinking of? Notts Forest. Okay, so Notts Forest got a big city catchment area. There is Notts County in there, but Notts Forest have got the history. They're a bigger club than us. Both of them have had to have points deducted for spending too much money to try and achieve what they were achieving. Leicester, far lower than we are, potentially could even be in a lower division next year if they don't keep the form and hope that the Rovers keep cocking it. They could now be in a lot of trouble. And Forest, even with Deitch at the helm, West Ham are going to get them down, hopefully. So just, you're right, Dan. Even at 300 million, we've kept ourselves safe from the point of view of we haven't had points deductions. We haven't had, imagine if we had points deductions. We wouldn't have come up last season. Even with 100 points, we wouldn't have come up because you know what the FA are doing. They won't give us 6, they give us 60. I mean,
yeah. We're not
so trying to drag some positives out, we are a smaller club. But I'm also the first person to turn around and say I'm sick and tired of people saying we don't deserve to be where we do. We do, because we've languished in some shit over the years and we've worked bloody hard to get back. And we got back and, I just got to believe we can do it again somehow.
Like I say, we've done a lot more than what other teams have done. Like you say, you've had Preston for years, always flirted around the playoffs, never made it. These clubs look at these clubs that have gone up and then languished. We've seen Southampton drop to League One. We've seen Leeds drop to League One. Now you've got Luton, Huddersfield, Blackpool, Bolton. All in those bottom leagues of football. So yeah, we, like you say, small fish in a big pond, but we've earned the right to be there. We're just not making it count. Heffy says the set piece coach wants sacking. I think the set piece coach got a fair bit of shit the other day, to be honest. Sorry, I shouldn't swear. I'm going to get my bottom smacked for saying that. I'm only 3. I'm 3 going on 4. I mean, thoughts on potentially doing similar to West Ham. I mean, West Ham did a bit of a peaceful protest, shall we say, with the no more bullshit sort of red flags. Is it something that you could see Burnley doing, it being a little bit more peaceful, but has it got to the point where enough's enough and fans are now going to start storming outside the Bob Lord like they did when it was curtains for Brian Laws?
I don't know. I wonder if, again, playing a bit of devil's advocate, are we just going to make it worse for ourselves and for the players? We are not going to get rid of Parker, no matter how much we sing, shout, scream. Pace is a stubborn ex-Wall Street banker. He doesn't blink. He'd beat every one of us at poker. I don't think we're getting rid of Parker. So what do we achieve? Now, I'm not saying don't boo. I'm not saying don't, make your feelings known. Far from it. But are we at that stage yet? Let's not belittle West Ham. West Ham have had 16 years, 15, 16 years. They had their stadium torn out from underneath them and sold for pittance, and flats making people money on the back of them. And you can't even go there and put us alongside West Ham. And like I said to Jake the other night, I have a bit of an issue with West Ham, mainly because of the my current good lady's ex, who's a knob. But they did. They've destroyed the soul of West Ham. Now look, I know people are going to say, yeah, Pace is going to do that, but he hasn't yet. Okay, he hasn't. We're not there yet. I think we just need to sort of grin and bear it, make our feelings known, but get through to the end of the season. And I don't know, could he get rid of him in the summer? How do we know that Pace and the board haven't got somebody lined up, haven't been working on something in the background?
Told him, if you walk at the end of the year, it'll look like a bit of credibility for you, but we'll already have someone in the pipeline to walk back straight through.
Yeah.
When you've gone,
we'll give you your money as if we've sacked you, but we'll do it on the face of it that you felt that you couldn't go any further. You've tried. I mean, who knows? I'm desperately grasping at straws, boys. I'm just, I'm desperately hoping there's something.
Baxi, yeah, we've gone over the Pace comments, and like I say, it depends how you want to look at it. I think it is the way we've sort of come to that. You could either look at it as he's the parent of this club. He's built this club in his last 5 years. He's thrown money at it, got it in his new school uniform, etc. And I think you could see that he's some type potentially talking about the club. But then, as fans and as pissed off as we are, again, I think it's the reporter as well that was sort of angled it towards those. Well, we hope that those 3-year-olds can enjoy 3 points. It was like that comment that really sort of made it sound like it was aimed at the fans. But it's nice to know that you've had a shower, mate, and it's nice to know that you're nice and clean. As a fellow ginge, it's nice to see you put the fire crotch out with a bit of water. Max says, if you're going to get rid of Parker, then surely sooner rather than later. Why would you wait for the summer? I get that, but even now, you do that. You've got Mark Jackson until the end of the year. Is it going to change anything? For me, personally, I think it's just a bit too little too late. I just want to go back to that question, what Chris put in. He said, fans won't go on, I don't think, and there'll be empty seats galore. It emptied very, very quickly after the second goal. The cricket field looked bare. It was horrible to see, but maybe is that the way forward? That maybe instead of actually whinging about it, we take a stand and don't go.
Well, I think that brings you back. Was it Mac asked a question further up on the chat there about season ticket holders not going? Did they lose out on something? I mean, at the end of the day, if you turn up and you start to watch, and then like some in the Jimmy McLower did yesterday, the first goal went in and they got up, murmured and swore a bit and left. That's not really hurting anybody, is it? It's not doing anything. It's hurting you, nobody else. I mean, and as a season ticket holder, I've paid my money. He doesn't give a monkey's two hoots whether I turn up or not, because I've paid for that seat for the season. So season ticket holders don't have that power apart from not renewing season tickets. And when he brings up the renewal, but it's always the same. And dare I suggest it's an English thing, because in France they're brilliant at it. Nobody ever sticks together. I don't care what
No,
you say. So
no.
if you turn around and you try and say to all season ticket holders, don't renew your season ticket because my God, that's going to hit them, which it would. Imagine that 16, 17,000, whatever it is, season ticket holders turn around and say, we're out by. He
Yeah,
is going to panic. He is going to be in a lot of trouble, a lot of trouble. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. He's just going to end up with 12 or 13,000 and then 4,000 more that couldn't afford one or, couldn't get one because we'd sold out. We'll buy one for the first time and be happy. So there's
yeah,
no power. There's no power in that nowadays. And walking out, whilst it's not nice, is it? And cricket field stand, I thought, surprised me in some respects because we're talking diehard fans in there. You
mm,
know, we're not talking walk-ons. I was quite surprised they left so quick, but that's got to send a message, hasn't it? I mean,
yeah.
he's got to sit there and think, hang on a minute, we lost half the ground.
Well, he's mentioned a
He's
few
got to.
times we want bums on seats. We want people in the stadium. We want to fill this stadium
Yeah,
to its full capacity. What's the point in doing any sort of stadium work in terms of knocking a stand down and building it better and adding seating if we're not going to be able to fill it come a normal match day? I get what he's saying with that, but on the flip side, that's only going to come with success. And
yeah.
at the moment, we're not showing that. I mean, Baxi does say here as well in regards to the ticket situation. I walked off and watched it from under the stands. Season ticket holders can put their tickets back on sale and get money back on the direct debit, to be fair. And Paul says, the question is, do you still want the same clueless football next season under Parker? To be honest, like I've said before, though, the football under Dash was piss poor, but it got results. It wasn't as poor as this. We actually got forward, showed some intent, even if it was a long ball over the top. And the midfield didn't know, they were just watching, like seeing a shooting star go over the top of their head. But personally, I don't want the same football next season. And Heffy says Alan can't see us in the cricket field from where he is. Trust me, he will have people that do. He will have people that tell him how bad it is from all four corners of the stands. No matter where he's sat.
We've had to put two of the lads on Parker yesterday walking off.
Yeah.
If you look, two of the lads were put on Parker to walk off. Okay, so Pace knows how unhappy the cricket field is. Now, my concern is, and I agree with Bad Girl Rebel in a lot of what's said. My concern is I don't think he sees the cricket field stand as important as it has been through the years, type thing.
There is people
Now,
at the club that do. There is
yeah,
people
but
at the
I
club
don't.
that do. I'm not going to go in and mention names, but
No,
there's been two or three people that have said that they want to make the cricket field stand a home end.
yes, totally, absolutely. But there are also people in the club that will be saying sack Parker, and he hasn't.
Yeah.
And like I said, ultimately he's a stubborn old mule. I almost feel like he's hanging on to Parker now because we're demanding he sacks him.
Yeah.
It's
Almost like I'm not
imagine.
caving into fan
Yeah,
power.
yeah, because he's just given that analogy yesterday. And I'll tell you something, as a parent of my kids, I am the biggest child going because I will
Well,
not
no.
give in. I will not give in to my children, which is as childish as my children, but it's what we do as parents, and there's his analogy.
Yeah, Baxter said that. Yeah, as if to say it's my ball, you can play. Did you see the other video of fans chanting at the end and Zian making the motion for them to calm down? I did see that. Like I say, if you were Parker, you'd like to think on the next. Don't know why we're still calling it keeping the faith, but when the next one comes out, if that game's included, it could be a very interesting watch to how they portray how this game is depicted on camera. And what's said is Parker saying, listen to the disgruntledness coming from those stadiums. It's not just at you, it's at me, it's about them upstairs, it's everything. Right now, the only way that that's going to change is if we change on the pitch and we start getting things right. That's that's where he needs to be, putting his foot down. And I'm not saying it so calm. Listen, lads, we need to be doing this. We need to be doing for sure. Shut up, you knobhead. I want you to get in on him, shout, ball, say what you need to do, rant and rave. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's no room for nice people in football. Behind closed doors, you have to be a bit of a bastard in that dressing room. That's what it's there for you to show that aggression, show that passion, emphasize it, instead of just sitting there like you're reciting poetry. No, it's don't wash for me. I mean, Baxi does, because we already found out about that. But
the narrative at the moment seems totally wrong. That's what concerns me the most.
Yeah.
The narrative at the club at the moment seems totally wrong. So we watched that documentary, and on the last episode, we see a media man that I'd never seen or heard of or knew, telling Parker what to say in an interview. Now, we all knew that he got told what to say.
Yeah.
But the narrative coming from him, Parker and Pace, is, and I mean towards the players when I'm saying this, is you're only young and we're going to look after you and we're going to protect you. And don't you worry about those nasty people. They're getting upset, but I know you're doing your best. And you were never going to win the Premier League. You were never going to stay up. We know that. But it's okay, boys. Don't worry, I'll look after you. That is not the narrative of a Premier League football club.
No.
That is not the narrative of a Premier League football club. I've watched Phil Parkinson tear the shit out of the Wrexham players at the start of their coming up from non-league. How do you think they've climbed from non-league to championship? It ain't telling them, don't worry, everything's going to be all right, and you're only young, bless you.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The narrative has gone, and I blame Parker for that more than anything, because that is his narrative. He's like daddy, you know?
Well, he'll have to be stepdaddy because he's only room for one daddy, and that's Alan Pearce in it at the moment. He'll have to play stepdad or weird uncle. There's always an uncle knobhead, isn't there? Palace then, mate. It's a Palace preview and we'll give them 10 minutes. They could get dragged into it, couldn't they? They could get dragged into it. They got a good win earlier on today, a 1-0 win away at Brighton. Again, it's one of those games where form goes out of the window, a derby game for them. Eagles, Seagulls, one got battered.
Just.
But yeah, again, just. But they just, I don't know. Again, Palace are a team that are hit and miss. I'm not. But by the way, just to clarify, I'm not saying that there's a chance we're going to get anything. I'm just saying they are a team that are hit and miss.
They are, but hit and miss is something we're not. That's the problem at the moment. We're miss. We don't hit anything. I mean, you know, Palace, you've just said it yourself. They were at risk of being dragged in. A very good chance. Tottenham, they don't like it, but they are. Tottenham, the way they are going, are at risk of being pulled in. You know, Leeds are getting results. Now Palace has got a result. Tottenham didn't get a result again. West Ham got a result.
Forest looking over the shoulder a bit.
Grabbed it a bit. You know, that's the annoying thing, really. If we were third, then you'd have a bit, and you were West Ham, you'd have a little bit of just, oh my God, there's some light at the end of this tunnel. We are not that team. Once upon a time, we went to London away, and you were confident we would pick up more results than not, whether they were draws or wins. We loved London. You know, we've always liked London for some reason. They don't like coming to us. We quite enjoy going down to London, having a few pints in the big city. The lads enjoy a night out after, you know, lovely. But not anymore. Not anymore. I don't see us doing anything. I mean, where do we go? We couldn't lift ourselves after 3 points against 3 good teams. You know, let's put this into perspective. We had 3 decent draws. Tottenham should have won. So the boys saying that they had no confidence, they should have had some more confidence after those 3 games. They turned it around after Brighton. I know it wasn't wins, but they turned it around. They'd shown passion and fight against three good sides. Well, Tottenham arguably, and then they've lost it. And then yesterday, what were they going to do? They're at home. They're against West Ham. It's your last chance, boys. Absolute last chance saloon. No, couldn't even fart. You know,
Yeah.
just couldn't do it. So do you really see them going down to Palace on Wednesday night and fighting hard?
No, not really, mate. Not really. Like I say,
Soul
I went to
destroying, mate.
Palace. I went to Palace under company, and that was soul destroying. The Palace put
Yeah.
4 past us that day, and like I say, coach got lost in Wimbledon. We missed 20 minutes of the first half. It was just,
which was a bonus.
Well, yeah, because it was still 0-0 at that point. So we looked like we could have got a point. It's just, I don't even know whether to even ask for it. I mean, yeah, we'll give a prediction anyway. But, you know, Heffy says here 3-0 Palace. Why not? Chris says Parker's going to beat Steve Cottrell's record soon, but there's no pressure on Parker. What a shambles. Liverpool and United should have won 2. Yeah, I think we could have potentially got something. That's interesting as well. Max says Palace 2-0. But I go back to player selection. Not been in and around it for a while, but do you expect to see Hartman being brought back in at any time soon?
Absolutely not. There's stuff going on we don't know.
Yeah.
There has to be stuff going on we don't know. It's becoming another Trésor, isn't it?
Is it a Trésor? Is it a Foster? But except Foster came out and spoke about his mental health.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. Come on, we don't really 100% know the truth about Trésor, do we? But my point being that Hartman got his pants pulled down on national media, and
yeah,
I was saying to my dad on the way home last night, I wonder if that was the start of what we would seem to be the players just thinking, what's going on here? Because as a manager, what do you want your manager to do when a player is, basically abused in national press? You want your manager to come out and protect him. Our manager threw him under the bus, dropped him. And
he did that with players at Fulham and Bournemouth though as well. Yeah. Except their chairmans were quick enough to say, "Nah, I'm not having that. I'm not having one man basically piss off a dressing room or have one person, slag one person off." Yeah, Dan, prediction for Wednesday night. I'm guessing you'll be watching, same as myself.
Yeah, I'm in Palace. I don't see anything other than a Palace win. I don't think, it sounds ridiculous, I don't think anybody's going to tonk us until we play Man City again. I think we'll probably sit at 2-0 again. I thought yesterday, apart from in the second half, we went 2-0 down, and I genuinely at times thought he doesn't want us to let a third in. Not we need to get one back, just don't let a third in. As if that was going to help. So there you go. I don't know.
I think he has got more assists than. Well, he's definitely got more assists than Lucas Pires. Anyway, Chris says 4-0 Palace. Lee's gone the same. 4-0 Palace. Strand Larson hat trick. I had to read that again because when I saw Larson, I thought, 4-0 Palace and Brun Larson hat trick. But conceded most goals in the Prem this season. Well, it's not hard to do. The way things are going, when we play Wolves on the final day of the season, they could probably cement us as the bottom team. It's an absolute shit show from top to bottom at the moment. Lots of questions need to be asked. I personally am going to ask some questions at the next board meeting. I don't care what people say, but I think it's only fair that if you're there to speak on behalf of supporters, you're there to put your point across. So I'm going to talk about why has the communication been poor? Why, when Dan stated earlier about that video with Parker talking about transfer policies, you put that out on deadline day. It's just, there's a lot going on that's wrong. And there's things that you could have done when things were on a high, and you didn't. You didn't. You could have done the season tickets last season. The fans wouldn't have been begrudged this year. What's going to be your get out of jail free card? Well, there's more games in the Championship. No, I don't think that'll wash. There might be more games, but that's more games with less empty seats, because people aren't going to watch it if that man's still in charge. And I'm not saying that I'm going to go in there all guns blazing and get him out, because at the end of the day that would be wrong. But I should. I'm sure they probably know after what they heard on the weekend, to be honest. And like Dan alluded to, fan pressure is a man who's going to be like, well, I'm not going to give you what you want. It is what it is. Dan, if you had to put a scoreline on it, on Palace's win. Oh, well, you did, didn't you? You said 2-0. Sorry.
2-0, I reckon.
Yeah. I'll probably join you. I'll probably join you with that one, to be honest. Heffy says, West Ham fan on Thursday said West Ham would sit back second half. Yep, they did. And Paul's come in with that, some miraculous comment there. Love it. Burnley winning the FA Cup. Trust me when I say this, it's going to feel like an away game against Mansfield, and it wouldn't surprise me if we get if there's a giant killing. I hope not, and we have a bit of a run of form in that. The reason we'll have a run of form in that is because we'll play someone like Ashley Barnes, who actually will play like he wears the badge on his sleeve, his heart on his sleeve and stuff.
But from what I've heard, Barnes is playing right back because we don't have one. Because he won't play Walker in the cup. So who we playing at right back?
We might put one.
I mean, Josh Laurent. It'd be Josh Laurent, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Josh Laurent.
Yeah, with Josh Laurent. I'll put one at young lads in.
No, he can't do that. I mean, we've got a Class A academy, and none of them are good enough to come to the first team. We've seen that.
Paul says 1-1 as well.
I've always loved Paul. I've always loved Paul for his optimism.
Wembley. We couldn't win the wooden spoon at an egg and spoon race. And Tuenzebe can play right back.
He can't play. Football, I mean, in general. He's too busy suing Man United for £1 million because of his injuries, and yet he's playing in the Premier League for Burnley. Don't quite get that one myself.
No. Also, he's just become a father, so there's a lot of...
Oh, there you go. See,
baby brain, we'll put it down to. I mean, we've all got one, haven't we? We've all got one of them.
We're all three at heart. There's been quite a few kids this year, haven't there? Players,
I think Walker's partner's pregnant again.
Who? Carl Walker. Which one?
Yeah.
Which partner?
Don't know. I'll ring round. I'll try and look through his phone book and just ring round. Might be easy looking through Yellow Pages. There's more accessible numbers.
Oh God, this is going to go downhill in the last couple of minutes.
It always does. No, Dan, thank you very much for coming in, giving us your insight and stuff like that. I really do appreciate it. Any parting comments you want to say before Wednesday's game?
Rovers are in the relegation spot.
Something to shout about, isn't it?
We've got to end on a high, haven't we? Really?
If it's not us going down, it's them going down. There's some positivity. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching and listening. We really do appreciate it. Keep your comments coming in. Let us know what you think. If there's anything you think we can add to these lives, etc., then let us know, and we'll do what we can to make that happen. But yeah, thanks again from myself and Dan, the double Ds, the only double Ds you need to listen to on a Sunday night. Take care, all the best, and potentially I could be doing a watch along for the Palace game. Yes, I know, stupidity at its finest. I love the pain. That said, take care, everyone, and potentially see you Wednesday. Up the Clarets.